Man, what's good, everybody? I just want to do this one because, you ever just had people doubt you or just come at you like you ain't doing something? I ain't trying to throw it in your face, but you know what this is? You know what this is? Y'all seen the pictures. I posted it earlier. Done and done. Certified, done. You know, everybody who had my back through this, because this process was just hell, because quite honestly, it takes way more to be done with somebody than it is to get with them. So, like I said, I just want to say thanks to everybody and everybody who out there who was saying, "Oh, it ain't gonna be done. It's just that and third." Haters.
Nobody. Um, she came to the studio apartment a couple times. I had been to her house a couple of times. Now, friends of mine I work with, we talked about her and they advised me, "Hey, this Atlanta, be careful because you're making this money, you're doing your thing, you don't want to end up just in a situation where you end up paying for stuff and doing stuff." I was raised where, man, you try to take care of your woman best you can do. I mean, I'm a car guy. I love cars. So for me, if she had a problem with her car, I help her. And over the coming weeks, she had a lot of problems with the Nissan Rogue she was driving. So I help out. I wasn't gonna have her. I even drove her car to work a couple of days just to get some stuff fixed on it because I know guys that work on cars and I know a lot. So just to get that situation in a better position, other side of Atlanta. So for me, going to the house, this was 5 minutes versus driving an hour and 10 minutes with traffic to my house.
So you already had a house?
Yeah.
So that wasn't mentioned in the story. I don't know if you know that, but
Yeah, I know.
yeah, she said that all you had was the studio apartment. So you had a house and a studio apartment.
Yep. Stay at a studio apartment through the week because traffic in Atlanta is horrible and trying to get home and get back and wearing out. I'm wearing myself out in the afternoon getting off work. And I'm in the car for 2 hours. Where a studio apartment, 15 minutes. She lived in Riverdale. I actually lived in Douglasville, but the
Mm-hmm.
job was in what is that? Uh like Duluth area. So if you look on the map, Duluth and Douglasville is far and Clayton County Riverdale is farther. So it was easier for me to get this studio apartment, be there during the week because I would be at work sometimes 8 o'clock and then having to drive home, get up, make that drive, this studio apartment. And a couple people that work with me, we all did the same thing. Right now, her credit is here, mine is here. Like I said earlier, I got to get her here. So when we go into this house, because if I go into the house and I'm buying it myself, can you really say it's your house? You got to help me here.
You said she had access to the account. She said the only thing that she saw was screenshots of like the account.
She had access to the two accounts I let her know about. I had five altogether, but she had access to them. She had access to those two accounts because I bled money into those accounts, paycheck, and then I bled money in if needed be. She was able to go to the bank, buy what she wanted when she wanted to buy it. A lot of people and I was asked not to because this has brought a negative light on the school. People who go there brought negative light on people I work with. Now, my brother, his job, my other brother, his job, my family, my aunts, my uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, children, everybody. So
What about the arena league? Do you have like a picture or something from there that
I told you before when I talked to the owner of the team, he asked me, "Hey, because you got fans returning tickets because of this stuff with Teresa. I'm not going to stop another football player from eating." I was asked not to, and then legally, I had to sign paperwork that I wouldn't.
what like disclose like the teams you were on?
I was asked not to. The ex-boyfriend reached out to me like while we were together because I guess he was living or he would come there. He was living in Milwaukee and he came one day. She was at work. I happened to be at the house and he was like, "Look, I'm here." And I let him in and we had a conversation like two gentlemen. And he was like, "Man, I'm here because she told me she had my Xbox and some
Mm.
stuff from me." And I was like, "Bro, I don't know." And me and him went upstairs We looked around, all through the house, and I called her, and she jokingly said, tell that MF I sold that SHIT. I took it to the pawn shop. F him.
Mm.
And he was upset. And, you know, he was wanting to call the cops and do all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, that's between you and her. I talked to her about it when she got home. She laughed. She thought it was a joke. She laughed about it. She said they broke up. I don't know. She say he cheated on her. He say he just walked out of a relationship because he got tired of her. At the end of the day, because she was secretary for law enforcement. I just took it upon myself. I called him up because we exchanged numbers, and I replaced the Xbox.
I decided. So your girlfriend's ex-boyfriend pops up unannounced to pick up an Xbox and some things, and you let him in, and you let him walk through the house with you to look for the Xbox and things, and you didn't even talk to her until after the fact? Come on, dog. Come on, dog. And then, wait, there's more. You're gonna replace the Xbox? What man is gonna do that? Come on. He would have been better off silent.
She went and looked at a couple of houses. I looked at 2 houses with her. I liked both of them. Both prices were a little needed to be negotiated, but at the time, they wanted to give her promotion at GSP, and I'm like, why don't you just take the promotion? Because then you can start paying down some of the student loan. I'll help you do that. Let's get your credit up here so that we can go into this house together. Because if I go into it by myself, I don't have a problem doing that, but we got to clean your credit up because we're married. And that means your credit is my credit.
Bro, he doesn't stop, yo. This is actually amazing.
Man, I used to shop for groceries in a dollar store out in California, like the Dollar Tree. Like I used to go there. I would go to like Save a Lot. I would do whatever I need to do to save that money.
There are no Save-A-Lots in the state of California.
So you never had a knee injury? Was never?
Nope.
Wow. Did you have any incident at work at all that would cause that lie? I'm trying to figure out where that would even stem from.
No, nothing. The only thing even close to that is, we got a little snow in Atlanta, and I slipped and bruised my elbow. Not no knee, nothing, limping, nothing. I walk just fine. My girlfriend will tell you that. I don't never had an injury with knees at all until I was in a car accident, and that was after her and I were divorced.
She had mentioned about the knee because she was saying maybe it had stemmed from football, and then she had mentioned that, hey, the football career, was never a thing. Like she could never find any, trace of that type of stuff. Is that, were you in the Arena League, or what did you tell her? Because, it was stories about NFL, Arena League. What league were you in?
Went to college, played, and then I went to college a little late because my parents didn't have the money. So I got a partial, went out San Diego, arena football for a couple of years, and then I just got a real job. That's it, basically. As simple as that. It wasn't nothing stellar. Did she look for it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But like I said, it wasn't nothing to write home about. I did more getting not saying, and I don't want to talk about like football players like not a real job, because it is a real job. But I think I did more after that part of my life than I ever did,
So you said you went to school in San Diego. You lived in California. That was true?
Yeah, I was there for school.
Okay, because she said she did some background research, and that never popped up that you
The
lived out
school
there.
don't that school they don't give you any student information. The reason they don't, um, I think it's 2003. Somebody went looking for somebody at the college and they weren't there, but they gave information for the person, and the person ended up getting killed. So their student policy is very strict. And we were told about that before I graduated. Student policy was changed, and it's very, very strict. If you are not alum, they're not gonna. It's just their student policy is to basically keep everybody safe, keep people from getting not having shootings on campus. San Diego State is a place where they push your education. They may not be big on sports all the time, but they want you to grow, progress. Um, and everybody I know, I went to school with out there, Jennifer, Henry, my friends, like we.
Did you ever promise her like a better car or a more expensive car?
I told her all the features that she were talking about. I said you will fit better in a BMW. But I said the challenge about putting you in a BMW is, and trying to teach her something is, you got to work for it. I'm not going to just give you an $80,000 car because I'm your husband and you deserve it. I understand that part, but you got to learn the value of a buck. We just can't go out here all the time. You got to understand the value of something, and you don't want to work for it. So help me help you. Because right now at this point, I'm taking care of all these bills here. I'm taking care of, help me help you. How do we do that? How do we come together and bring these finances together? Now, the only part of that story that she told that was true, did I hide money from her? Yeah, I did. I absolutely did.
So was that what happened to Junebug, as if like he had passed away?
I don't know who the heck that is. I don't know nothing about that. The only person that passed away is a friend of mine. His name is Eric. He was in a car accident.
Junebug was supposed to be family.
No, nobody in my family called Junebug. Eric was a friend of mine who was in an accident. He went through a rough time. He was a military guy. PTSD bothered him. Me and a lot of people that knew him, we tried to get him help. He drank a lot, and one night he got drunk and he just off the road. Fatal car accident. I went to St. Louis to bury him with a lot of friends of mine. She knew about that. You gotta excuse me on that one. That's a really good friend of mine. He somebody that I gotta say, if I had to say best friend, he was one of them. He real supportive dude. He had a rough life, honestly. Alcohol. And we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. But my message to her is, please stop lying to these people, and you can tell them the real reason I left you. You cheated. I caught you in the house with Bradley, and we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up.
Y'all, these text messages that Legion posted, and he really thought, did you really, like, why is you lying on me, bruh? And hold on, what? Legion, or what's his name, Jamal? No, Jeremy? I don't know. Legion. I know it's McCoy. Jerome, there it goes, Jerome. Jerome, what the hell? Jerome in Rome? This man this is actually very scary. This is a scary liar. This is all her 54 parts. And he just adding on more, y'all. This is blowing my mind.
My name is Jerome McCoy. Y'all been saying Legion or what name that Teresa decided to give me, whatever. I'm only here honestly because I didn't see the stories until like part 20, and a good friend hit me up and was like, "Hey, it's your ex-wife, and she on here, she bashing you or whatnot." And I didn't know nothing about it. I literally still haven't watched a lot of it. I just paid attention to like the footnotes. Somebody like watched the whole thing and gave me like a microcosm of what she was saying because they knew it wasn't true. And then I honestly wasn't going to respond. Nobody said anything to me. Only when I got family members getting harassed, my godmom at work and people coming up to her, and then my niece couldn't go to school because of it. Got another niece that had to move out of Atlanta, and she came back home, her mom, because of all this. So for me, when I heard about it, I was going to ignore it, still ignore it because it didn't bother me. But then I heard the unfortunate story about the gentleman with the same name, his house being vandalized, and then people harassing him, and then another gentleman with the same name. I think that I'm not mistaken. I think somebody had wrote they took a shot at him. So for that reason, I said, all right, let me come put a stop to some of this. Some of the people I went to school with, good friends of mine, been getting harassed, and I got friends of mine getting harassed. I got my brother, he had to make a statement for his job. And even I had to go to workplace and make a statement and find out what was going on, and then get legally covered before I jump on camera, start talking loose like some people doing. A lot of things had to come in place for me to jump on here. And then the funny part in between that, I see ex-girlfriends that I ain't talked to in forever, ex-wife that and it's crazy because I'm like, what?
When he told me this, I was in the kitchen laughing.
Allegedly, your ex-wife came out and did a 50-part series on TikTok about what transpired in y'all's relationship and all the horror stories and all these things that she felt like, she needed to come out and say. First things first, I just wanted to ask, explain the conditions and how you guys met, about the studio apartment, the money situation and the job.
I met her. I was doing a work thing, and after work, everybody wanted to get together to eat. I mean, we had like one of the most stressful weeks at my job that we could possibly have. So we all was like Cheesecake Factory. You in Atlanta, you know anything about Atlanta, everybody go to Cheesecake Factory. Me, it's my favorite restaurant. Don't eat there too much because you're going to get fat. But I mean, it's a good place to eat. We all went there to eat, honestly. I was there. She was there with two of her roommates. We met. She seemed honestly like a really nice girl, nice lady, honestly, very funny, really smart. We exchanged numbers and we decided to meet back there a week later. The next week, I actually could not meet her back there because, again, I had work. Then the week after that, she called me up. We was like, Cheesecake Factory, cool. So I was on my way to meet her there. She called me on the phone, said that she had a problem with her tire. Asked her what was going on. She said she had a piece of metal in it or something. She put some air in it and was on the way and was going to meet me. Then she called me like 20 minutes later, said she couldn't do it. She couldn't meet me because of the tire and she needed help.
I heard a boom and I lost control of my car. Did not crash, but my tire blew out. I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing.
She didn't have roadside assistance or anything like that. So I was like, all right, cool. And I was just going to go and be done with it. But something in me said, hey, don't leave a woman on the side of the road. Like, my dad was real big on, you can help. So I was like, all right, cool. Tell me where you at. Send me your location. Boom. She sent me a location. Long story short, I went, helped her get her tire fixed. Went to a tire place, guy I know and love. He fixed the tire. Really didn't charge me much of anything. I paid for the tire. And we ended up going to dinner after that. We talked, hit it off. And we ended up spending almost 24 hours together just talking. Really. She interests me because she is like highly intelligent. Teresa, not stupid by any means. So that's how I got started, honestly. She was very open. And I was very open about what was going on with me, which was nothing, but I just worked way too much. At that time, I was working way too much. As anybody, you just trying to make money. back then. My motivation was I just want to make as much money as possible. I had nothing to tie me into anything other than just, get some money.
We both had established we were dating for marriage. It was a good vibe. We sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight. And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh my God.
That was how I got started. After a couple of weeks of talking on the phone, dating, again, she grew on me, as any relationship, if you like somebody. She came to the studio apartment a couple times. I had been to her house a couple of times. Now, friends of mine I work with, we talked about her and they advised me, hey, this Atlanta, be careful because you're making this money, you're doing your thing. You don't want to end up just in a situation where you end up paying for stuff and doing stuff. I was raised where, man, you try to take care of your woman best you can do. I mean, I'm a car guy. I love cars. So for me, if she had a problem with her car, I help her. And over the coming weeks, she had a lot of problems with the Nissan Rogue she was driving. So I help out. I wasn't going to have her. I even drove her car to work a couple of days just to get some stuff fixed on it because I know guys that work on cars and I know a lot. So just to get that situation in a better position. Then, the relationship grew. And then the pandemic hit.
But everything was going great. The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. He was in his studio. I was like, he kept telling me like this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like, he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company. She was putting him in contact with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house.
So the apartment is just the apartment I lived in during the week doing work. I lived other side of Atlanta. So for me going to the house, this was 5 minutes versus driving an hour and 10 minutes with traffic to my house.
So you already had a house?
Yeah.
So that wasn't mentioned in the story. I don't know if you know that, but
yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, she said that all you had was the studio apartment. So you had a house and a studio apartment.
Yep, stayed at a studio apartment through the week because traffic in Atlanta is horrible and trying to get home and get back and wearing out. I'm wearing myself out in the afternoon getting off work. And I'm in the car for 2 hours. Where a studio apartment, 15 minutes. She lived in Riverdale. I actually lived in Douglasville. But the job was in what is that? Like Duluth area. So if you look on the map, Duluth and Douglasville is far and Clayton County, Riverdale is farther. So it was easier for me to get this studio apartment, be there during the week because I would be at work sometimes 8 o'clock and then having to drive home, get up, make that drive, this studio apartment. And a couple of people that work with me, we all did the same thing. We all rented out of this building because it was easier for a lot of us.
I did not realize inviting him to my home probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a keeper. She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this. What I need to do to quarantine here.
Because I heard in the story where she said that we quarantined together during the pandemic. And I need to clear that up because during the pandemic, like we're Zooming and we FaceTime. I got her into using Apple products, iPhone, and we FaceTime. During the pandemic, she worked from home. I still had to get up and go to work. And because people at my job were coming down with COVID left and right, I didn't think it was a good idea for us to physically see each other because COVID in Atlanta was horrible. The city.
Who can come to your defense?
Hey, you remember the phone call she used to make?
Yeah.
You want to tell them about?
She hates you and she hope you die. And the next minute, it was she loves you and she don't know why you're doing this to her and why y'all can't get back together.
That's simply what happened. Ended up.
Keep calling it an accident. It wasn't no damn accident. She ran you the fuck over.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Say that part.
Well, I came to get my stuff. I came to get stuff out of her house to take home to mine. And when I was in the driveway, she decided to back over me with my vehicle.
What was you didn't
Press charges? You can't press charges. You're unconscious, my boy. I woke up with a crushed pelvis, emergency surgery for appendix, leg crushed, arm crushed.
So you didn't care about getting no compensation back from her hitting you or nothing?
I cared about living, breathing. The money I made working.
What money are we talking about? Are we talking about $250,000? We talking about under that? What, like?
Okay, listen, $600,000. A lot more than that, triple that.
You saying that what you have is triple with 600,000?
Then yeah, but I've quadrupled my worth since then. You got the whole thing with TikTok going on. Like they want to get rid of TikTok. One of the reasons, because of stuff like this type of stuff.
So you saying TikTok is facing ban because people are posting their stories? I'm confused. That you were talking to, these are just like friends. These are friends that you call brothers, but your actual brother you don't really speak to.
We speak here and there, but not really. When our parents died, we all kind of went our separate ways because my parents really preached for us to be a family. But my parents, when they went their separate ways, my brothers, I guess we fell apart. I guess the best way I can put it to you. Not because any of us did anything to anybody. My brother Chris is a really good dude. He been through a lot. Dude has been to war, so I can imagine what that must be like. Well, I can't imagine what that's been like for him. And he went through some stuff. He went through a messed up divorce. He's a dedicated father to his daughter, and for a guy who you see your daughter every day and then not being able to see your daughter every day, I don't know. I can't imagine what that would be like for him. And for him, he made moves that he wanted to make. And he's my big brother and I respect him and love him. So I had to respect him for it. He took his space from me and my brother and I had to respect him. Some of the people I went to school with, good friends of mine, been getting harassed, and I got friends of mine getting harassed. I got my brother, he had to make a statement for his job. And even I had to go to workplace and make a statement and find out what was going on and then get legally covered before I jump on camera, start talking loose like some people doing. A lot of things had to come in place for me to jump on here. And then the funny part in between that, I see ex-girlfriends that I ain't talked to in forever, ex-wife that and it's crazy because I'm like, what?
Number one thing today we're gonna talk about first, shouldn't do in a relationship or should do. Don't be afraid to text your partner in the morning, tell them good morning, tell them you love them, even though you just told them that when you left the house. Don't be afraid to tell them so. Text them and say good morning, what's up, you know what I'm saying, how's your day going? Especially if you don't live with the person or something like that, that kind of brightens up their day, you know what I'm saying, just to hear from you. That's tip 1 from your boy. Stay tuned for tip 2, tip 3. We're gonna do these all day.
And I rode the bench proudly for that paycheck and was able to finish paying for a little bit I owed for school. I was able to buy a very nice car, very nice house, and start my life off great. I mean, when you don't try to spend your money, like, you be amazed. Like, man, I used to shop for groceries in a dollar store out in California, like the Dollar Tree. Like, I used to go there. I would go to like Save a Lot. I would do whatever I need to do to save that money, because any day in arena football might be your last day. And it's not the same. The contract's not set up the same. None of that. So again, I did the smart thing and saving money. And these two gentlemen I told you about before, save your money, save your money, save your money. And they were very instrumental in telling me that. My father was still alive, so my father would be like, yeah, save your money, because tomorrow ain't promised to you. So make sure that you got something to fall back on, because when it's over, it's over. And for me, I probably still could have played, but I kind of outgrew it. I got tired of the hustle and bustle of it all. And I became more of a fan than the athlete. And at that point, it was time to do something else. And I did.
Did you ever promise her like a better car or a more expensive car?
I told her all the features that she were talking about. I said, you will fit better in a BMW. But I said the challenge about putting you in a BMW is, and trying to teach her something is, you got to work for it. I'm not going to just give you an $80,000 car because I'm your husband and you deserve it. I understand that part, but you got to learn the value of a buck. We just can't go out here all the time. You got to understand the value of something, and you don't want to work for it. So help me help you. Because right now, at this point, I'm taking care of all these bills here. I'm taking care of, help me help you. How do we do that? How do we come together and bring these finances together? Now, the only part of that story that she told that was true, did I hide money from her? Yeah, I did. I absolutely did.
So was that
Bit, all right.
Being funny, you gonna have to talk on speaker.
Bit, all right.
You gonna have to put that phone on speaker.
Hello? Hey, what's going on? Nothing, just sitting here with Mister, and we watching TV. Oh, Diane said hey.
Well, I say hey.
He said hey. Oh, girl. Oh, no, I ain't been by to see Mama yet, so I'm gonna go by there in a couple days. She said, how your sister doing?
She doing all right.
He said she doing all right. She doing okay. Girl, I don't know when we gonna make it down there. It's COVID and stuff, and we still locked down. So we gotta figure it all out. Yeah, it's just us here. But if things look like they come around, I ain't been sick, he ain't been sick. He had a little cold. You had a little cold, right?
A little something.
A little something, a little something. Girl. For real? Oh my. Okay, let me go see what this fireplace doing over here. I'll call you back. Oh, that was staying in.
I wanted a dark blue BMW X5 cognac interior, and I wanted an M Series.
I fell asleep amid the flowers.
Imagine being the current girlfriend of Legion, aka the Printer, and watching the series along with the rest of us from part 1 all the way to part 50. And then finding out at the end of the series that this is the same man that's laying in your bed.